Joining me now in studio is Regina's MAD community leader, Wendell Waldron. Good morning, Wendell.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
What do you think of this campaign?
It's unique. I like the idea of it. I think what they're trying to emphasize is that it's important from a social perspective to actively get involved in helping your friends make the right decisions. So it's no longer a taboo thing to simply watch your friend drink and then drive away. Now we can actively get involved, and it's the right thing to do.
How do you think this campaign compares to other campaigns in terms of how it might affect viewers?
Well, I wonder how effective these sort of campaigns truly can be. I think what can be more effective is legislation that can guide us in the right way. But from a certain degree, I do like the fact that it's showing that people can get involved in helping their friends. And I think that's one of the things that we see in all of these high-profile accidents, whether it's Colby Hyde or Catherine McKay. There were opportunities for friends and
They were around people.
They were around people. There were opportunities to do the right thing, and people watched, and they didn't do anything about it. So it's crucial that we, stress the point that it's important to get involved before it's too late.
Right. Do you think it could be even stronger in terms of that you as an observer could be more culpable in that whole experience? As you say, there are people who watch these people not just maybe injure themselves, but went on to take out totally innocent others.
Yeah, I mean, it certainly could be stronger. I don't know how you would, from a creative perspective, I don't know how you would do that, but I think it's important to realize that
maybe they come into the bar and charge you,
well,
you know what I mean? Or take you to court, or maybe you're culpable in some meaningful way.
Maybe it could be something similar to that. I know that from a perspective of a licensed establishment, they're far more culpable.
Right.
But I think it's important to realize that regardless of whether you're legally culpable or not, if your friends are drinking, you know that they're drinking, you know your friends, and if they're getting into a car, do something about it, whether it is take their keys away or simply call the police.
Right. In this day and age, how much do you think campaigns make a difference to what people do? As I mentioned, I grew up watching friends don't let friends drink and drive, and we still drink and drive in this province 30 years after watching those ads.
Yeah, it's a good question. The Saskatchewan government has been dealing with impaired driving for 50 years. It's been a big issue here. And we've had all sorts of campaigns, like you said, campaigns that have been designed to reduce the incidence of impaired driving, yet we still have a very significant issue here with impaired driving. I think our big problem here are the social examples that we have. So while we have these great campaigns that talk about consequences to impaired driving and what's going to happen, we also have the other side of the equation where there's social examples, such as the Don McMorris situation. He's arrested in a government vehicle. 7 months later, he's back in the caucus. I'm sorry, that's not the best practice to do. It sends the wrong example. And Murray Mandrick, a great writer here in Saskatchewan, Leader Post, said it best, and that is, we don't view drinking and driving as a matter of consequence until someone dies. And we have to change that belief altogether. And stuff like the Don McMorris circumstance reinforces the belief that, well, as long as you don't kill anyone, it's not too bad. It doesn't work that way.
What you mentioned, legislation is often the best way to change behavior, because I think part of the problem with these campaigns is that we don't see ourselves in them. We don't think that will be us or our friends, right? Until it is.
Right.
That's what sort of wakes us up. But as I understand it, part of the problem with the drinking and driving is that if you don't think there'll be consequences and you don't get caught, no big deal.
That's it. You nailed it. I mean, the bottom line is this. Drinking and driving is not a mistake. It's a choice. And it's based upon two factors. One, the person doesn't believe that they're going to get caught. Two, they don't think they're going to hurt or kill anyone. So we have to be very careful about the kinds of messages that we send. So it's important that we have legislation in place that makes it not worth the while to drive impaired in the first place. So what they have in British Columbia is the immediate roadside prohibition. You lose your vehicle for 30 days. If you're impaired and you're thinking about your choices, 30 days without your car is something that you're going to consider. Or without your friend's car, if you're driving your friend's car. So we need some effective consequences that are working. we have metrics to prove that they are working in other places.
Is it your understanding that that works as well, not just because you've lost the car for 30 days, which would be a big hindrance to employment or getting your kids around, but also that you can't hide that from anyone who might hold you accountable at home, whether that's your husband or wife or your mom or dad?
Absolutely.
There's no hiding no car, right? If you lose your license for a couple of days, maybe you take a cab or bike around, but you come home with no car, you have to explain yourself.
Yeah, I mean, 30 days is a long time without a vehicle. I mean, we're seeing right now that the impound rate or the impound level for Saskatchewan is 3 days, and that's pretty good. If you're at the Warren range between 04 and 08, it's not an effective measure at the 08 level and above. So if you have your vehicle gone for 30 days, the social pressure of having to explain where your car is, it's pretty tough.
Is that one of your big asks for the government, or what are some things you'd still like this government to do when it comes to legislation?
I'd like to see that immediate roadside prohibition. I think that's the most important thing. I also believe that we need a program similar to what Ontario has, which is a last drink program. So when a person is caught for impaired in Ontario, the police officer must ask them where they were being served before they were caught. It's important because that data is actionable, and we start to see that typically it's a few establishments that are breaking the rules. So things of those measures would really help our situation here.
How optimistic are you that the government's ready to do more on this front?
I think time will tell. I mean, I don't know that. I know that they're actively looking at the data. Our issue in Saskatchewan has been that we have lagged legislatively behind other provinces. So some of the attitudes that we have here are 30 years behind, and our metrics are also 30 years behind as well. So it's important that I believe we're starting to see it now. The SGI and the ministers are involved are really starting to see that we have to move a bit quicker when it comes to these issues. So hopefully that continues.
Thanks for coming in this morning, Wendell.
No problem. Thank you.